right now Michigan is under scrutiny. And they're going to be under scrutiny for the next couple of months until this investigation is over. This investigation's never going to be over because Michigan has been cheating like every other team in college football and college basketball and even college baseball. It's been going on for ages, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody is trying to find a nut. If you're going to try to find a nut, you might as well look in Speedy's pants because it's not going to be over there in Michigan. But I will say this. What the NCAA has done to not only schools and obviously what is going on in the NCAA with NIL deals, we have seen them screw many different people. There's one guy right now that is not allowed to go to USC anymore, and that is Reggie Bush. He got his Heisman Trophy back. Big whoop. He was not invited to the Heisman Trophy dinner because he's not considered a Heisman Trophy winner because he cheated, as the NCAA considers him a cheater. It's been a big problem, and this has been going on forever. I don't know why anybody thinks that what
Errol,
Michigan did was bad.
How is it him considered cheating when he was trying to take care of? He didn't cheat.
He sent 52 texts.
It's not like he bet. He didn't bet on the games. He didn't do that.
Exactly.
He just took something to take care of his family. Like, I'll be the first one to admit, and they can watch my show, I don't give a shit. Was I getting free meals at Applebee's when I was pitching Friday night for Nebraska and getting to the World Series? You're damn right I was. Was I getting free tickets? Was I getting free tattoos? 100%.
Was he getting free blowjobs? You're 100% right. I'm sorry.
I wasn't at that point.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I'm sorry.
It
was the Yankee years. It was the Yankee years. All right.
No, I was faithful and then when I got to the big leagues, it was a little different.
There was a lot of those. Yeah.
But I just don't understand how that comes into cheat. Like, we're not cheating. Like, we're poor ass kids. Mm-hmm. Like, if I can get a free meal and like take care of my family and like, okay, I want to get tattoos, I want to do whatever. Like, I'm not cheating. Now, if I'm betting on it, that's different because you're trying to throw the game and sway it a certain way. But if I'm just getting free meals and like free stuff.
Bro, it's just like if your roommate's parents come into town and they pick you up the tab.
I took Carter out for his birthday, and he had 8 teammates.
You know what bothers me about this whole story?
But you know why? But I'm not an alumni. If I was an alumni, technically, is illegal.
You know what bothers me about this story?
That's
is
crazy.
It seems like Michigan is always in between these stories. Every single time, it's either Notre Dame, Michigan, and one of these big schools that obviously bring in players or cheat, or they find ways to, connive rules and bring in money or put money, push money under the table. Remember Arizona?
You don't think every school's doing this?
I said it. I said it. How about Arizona's coach? Remember
Miller.
Remember the FBI was investigating college basketball coaches, and they were on the phones listening to the conversations with players. Now all of a sudden these kids are getting NIL deals worth about $6 to $7 million. Arch Manning just got a $5.5 million deal from Red Bull. Come on, guys. This has been going on forever. Cheating and trying to find ways to win. Everybody's trying to find an edge. Ask Bill Belichick. He's the king of finding edges and getting caught. It's been going on forever. It doesn't matter if it's in college. It doesn't matter if it's in professional sports. It doesn't matter if you're out there trying to take a test and trying to find the key to cheating with all the kids sitting there and giving all the answers. By the way, I cheated on my fire department test. Every single kid was in the bathroom trying to get the answers and doing it in the stall. So, everybody cheats. They find a way to cheat. They try to find a way of, getting out of, studying or doing whatever the hell they're trying to do against a team.
I can tell you one thing, Errol. My entire career, I never cheated one time. I never used sticky. I never used anything other than Advil and Red Bull. I can tell you one time, and I will say with my heart, on my son's life, and God rest my father's life, there is not one time I ever cheated in the game that I played that I loved so much. Not one time.
You never popped the Vicodin? A little Percocet? An Oxycodone?
That's not cheating, though.
Oh, it's just feel good.
If it's
you know?
prescribed, it ain't cheating.
There you go.
Exactly.
Well, we can ask somebody that's coaching over there with the Broncos. I mean, he knew all about that. You know?
And we can ask Jim Irsay with
Oh,
all the
Sean
things he had in his
Payton.
trunk.
A little, Irsay. I mean, they were hanging out with each other.
I never used sticky, and the one year that I tried to use it was 21, and that's the first year they started cracking down on it. And I was like, you gotta be kidding
So you were
me,
smoking
man.
crack? Is that what you're saying? You said sticky stuff and crack
For
up?
baseball, the whole
No.
I know what he was talking. I know what he was talking about. As far as the Michigan situation, I'm not surprised that the NCAA is trying to screw something. And I think Michigan cheated, but why even prosecute them? It's been going on in sports, including college football, forever. Stealing signs, doing all these different things. It doesn't matter. To me, you shouldn't care about what they're doing behind closed doors. Why the hell should you care about what they're doing on a football field? All right?
How about change up your signs if you think the other team's
Well, they
stealing
did try
your
to do that.
signs?
They hired a bunch of different students, allegedly.
Yes, they did.
To be able to go to the road teams before that. And then SHERRONE MOORE also sent 52 texts out in that thread with Jim Harbaugh involved in that process. So it was very elaborate, and it was the signs were, that's why it was hard for them to catch it for a while. They were doing it for 3 years, remember?
They didn't care what Johnny Manziel was doing behind closed doors, sniffing cocaine.
And I think that's the
This is
big
the only
partying.
sign Johnny was doing.
Yeah, they didn't care because he was a superstar player. And he didn't even show up to practices.
And this is, I think, different. I know, Joba, you were bringing up the NIL scandal, NIL deals before, and obviously teams have paid athletes under the table all the time, and schools are going to be able to do that for a while, and they were doing that long before this rule was put in place. But this is different. This is actually a game-enhancing, performance-enhancing scandal right there when you're stealing signs. So I think that's the big difference on why maybe them as the school and Moore as the coach.
Speedy, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But exactly what Fish said, if you don't want me to steal your signs, be better at it.
No, I
That's
know.
the
And
game.
I think their
We're
process was
playing
very
chess,
elaborate.
not checkers.
And they were using all this military-grade technology. They were using, like I said, all these different students, which means they were getting paid under the table, too. This is a whole bigger scandal than just this. So Errol's right. If the NCAA wants to make an example out of this, 2 games is nothing.
Look what it just bothers the hell out of me. Every time I think about Reggie Bush, it bothers the hell out
It's
of me.
not the NCAA. That's what it is. This is self-imposed by Michigan, Speedy. So they're trying to jump the gun
As a
with
cover
this
up, yeah,
suspension.
right.
No,
Come on,
'cause they
Fish.
can't
You don't
cover it
think
up.
Fish? You don't think the NCAA has something to do with this? Come on,
No,
man.
the NCAA is going to do a much larger
I know.
They have
suspension.
to.
But you
because-
know they reached out to Michigan and they were like, if you're not going to do something, we're going to do something even worse. You know they're in their
Michigan
ears.
doesn't want to give up certain files to them because, there's a good reason not to trust the NCAA over past precedent. as you were
Always.
saying.
No, that's fair. I think that's the precedent you want to set, though. Yes, and that's where I think Michigan only doing it for 2 games, and they did it for 2 games. I know Nebraska's better job, but they're still not thought of as a Big Ten powerhouse.
No, we suck.
I know.
Did
but
they fine Harbaugh? Is Harbaugh getting fined? Because he got out of this pretty
He
scot-free.
got out of it. He would have been the one suspended last year, and I think they said they would have extended his
Smartest
suspension
guy in the world,
probably
man.
to half the
Smartest
season
guy in the world.
if he stayed there last year because he was
Pete
also
Carroll
very
did the
involved
same
in
thing.
process.
Let's face it.
Smartest guy in the world.
But again, this is not an NIL
They,
thing. This
they
is a
know what
performance
they're
enhancing
doing.
thing.
They're not stupid.
They're all cheating. What do you think? Everybody thinks that Coach K was never cheating. He absolutely was cheating. They all cheat. They all find a way to recruit these players as well as they're trying to find an edge. Every single sport, it doesn't matter where you go, AAA, AA, single A, professional, it don't matter. They are always trying to find an edge. Why do they care so much? And this guy is going to trial? You're gonna put this guy through trial? It's the most ridiculous, redundant
Every
thing.
team in college football has someone watching signs. They have all these coaches up in the booth. Listen, I know because I coach up in a booth. I'm only one guy, and sometimes I have another person with me. You know what I tell them to do because I'm doing most of the work? Check out who's coming in and out when they have different signals. Who's
And when
coming
they
in-
do it.
When do they do it?
Yeah.
Can you give me any information? Because it's an information game. And Michigan was just like, how about we just be better at that? Because it's part of the game. Because it is
Fish,
part
do you
of the
think
game.
it's
By doing
technically
moles in the
stealing
stand.
because you're just watching?
I think that if you're paying people under the table
Yeah.
Okay.
and you're not paying taxes
Uh-huh.
and you're doing certain things that you know are wrong, then there's got to be some kind of penalty.
But so say they're on your staff. Say it's your assistant coordinator, right? and like you're running all your schemes, getting everything ready, and you just say, hey, you know what? Go watch, because we know Jaden's coming in this whatever. And like he's got his binoculars and he's watching that. Is that stealing signs?
Just think about how many people they have on a college sideline and in a college booth. I mean, I'm usually up there calling a game with one other person max. They have about 40 people on staff. What are they all looking at? At least one or two of them, if not more, looking at the signs of the other team. Every
Watching
game.
the sideline.
And Joba,
yeah.
they weren't
Every
all
game.
staff members either. They were random students, a lot of them. Just
They
planted
got
in
like
as molds.
assistant quality control coaches.
Yeah, I'm
What the
sure
hell do you think
Michigan
they're doing?
invented a term for it.
The made up
Yeah.
title.
There's a lot of interesting titles for coaches out there.
During
and
the
sometimes you give it to them
90s.
because they're kind of incompetent, but sometimes you give it to them because you don't want people to know what they really do.
During the 90s, what were you watching on the sidelines when it came to football? You had the backup quarterback calling up signs. That's what they were doing. And then obviously the NCAA said, you know what, this is not a good thing. Then they started giving them headsets, and then they're using headsets up there in the press boxes, and you have a certain amount of headsets you're allowed to have on the sidelines. The NCAA has rules. There is a certain amount of headsets you're supposed to have, and who's allowed to be on the headset. But trust me, if you don't think there are other people upstairs having headsets or have something to say in the middle of it, you guys are absolutely gullible. You're stupid. The NCAA has been allowing this forever, and because Michigan was caught and everybody's been getting caught, they're trying to make a statement. And a lot of people can't stand the Michigan Wolverines. They can't stand that program, and they're going to try to absolutely drop the hammer on them. I think it's despicable, and the NCAA needs to stop this before it gets even worse, because they're not the only team that's doing it. Ohio State, you think they're not cheating?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
I definitely did.
Come on. You're going to tell me
they
the
were
Buckeyes?
the whistleblower behind all this.
Allegedly.
Ryan Day was the
Get
whistleblower.
out of here. Yes, absolutely.
With all their NIL money, you don't think they could cover up something too?
Absolutely. USC, Pete Carroll got away with murder.
If you don't think all of these teams in some way, shape, or form, now it's a little bit, they can get away with a little bit more because of the NIL. But if you don't think they're cheating in some way, shape, or form, I don't know whether you're living under a rock or you're misinformed or you just want to just hide behind it and think
They
that
live
your
in Goody's
school is
underground
so great.
society.
Or living in Jabba's cornfields.
Yeah, I mean but even living in our cornfields, that's what funds Nebraska football
There you go.
and volleyball.
There you go.
They live in a cornfield and make ass loads of money and give it to the school, but they know why. They know exactly what it is.
But speaking of
They have private planes too that they give to the school.
Speaking of
and
NIL
they
money,
do
on a,
this.
on a side note, Errol brought up Sean Miller. Now Sean Miller on a Texas Longhorns NIL budget. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, please. Oh, my God.
Estimated $40 million budget, by the way, for Texas.